Welcome to the Joy of Coding.
Hello, and welcome to episode 309 of The Joy of Coding. My name is Mike Conley. It's so good to have you here. Welcome to the stream. Gonna be hacking on some Firefox stuff today. Gonna be doing things in Windows. Might be writing some C++. Trying to move some things off of the main thread. It's gonna be a great time. Let's do it. Come join me. So let me start by sharing my screen. One sec. There it is. Let's pull up the agenda. Right, it's November 30th, 2022. A reminder, no plan survives breakfast. I think I know what I want to do today, but hey, it might go completely sideways. That's the name of the game here, where I'm not doing anything that's like really sort of prepared or pre-planned beyond a general sense of what I want to do. And so we might get stuck, sidelined, sidetracked, or we might accomplish what we're trying to do. That's happened before. You're watching software development in the raw, and so come ride with me while we try and figure this stuff out. That's the first thing. The second thing is that the agenda that we're looking at is available to you if you're interested on clicking any of the links or following along. You can find it in the, it depends on where you're watching this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, check the video description. Same thing with diode.zone. If you're in Air Mozilla, check out the details section. And if you're on Twitch, check out the channel details down below. You should find a link to the agenda down there, and you can click on all these handy dandy links. Which reminds me, there is an episode guide. If you're not familiar with the episode guide, it is a completely viewer-driven resource. If you're watching this maybe in the future and want to know what happened during this episode, you can consult the episode guide. If you want to find something in a previous episode, you can consult the episode guide. The episode guide is, like I said, completely viewer-driven. People just like you contribute addenda, corrections, notes, etc. to the episode guide. And it's just to sort of like help people who are watching the stream out. And in fact, I believe there are some pull requests that we should probably merge in for some past episodes. So let's take a look. Let's start there. Let's take a look at the Joy of Coding episode guide. We're going to go to, this is what the episode guide looks like. We're going to go to our GitHub. Now, if you're not familiar with GitHub or pull requests, I need to re-verify maybe. You should follow these links here on contributing and what a pull request is and what a repository is. So there are a number of pull requests here. We've got episodes backed up for days here. Episodes 303 to 308 are in the queue. Let's merge those in now. They're all from SmurfD, a prolific contributor. I'd say the primary contributor to the episode guide. So thank you so much, SmurfD. You're the best. You're the best. So the first episode guide that he's adding is for episode 303. That was on October 19th. Let's just double check. That's all right. October 19th, 2022. That all looks good. And then what did we do? We were doing some testing to see whether or not we could use a reusable component for our migrations UI. Turns out we can. That's what we concluded, is that we can. Actually, for the people who are curious about that whole thing, you can see the initial infrastructure. I have a patch up for review right here for the people who maybe care about the migrator and our reusable component stuff. In migrator reusable component infrastructure is being added in this patch. And so if you're curious at all about what that means, you should check this patch out. I kind of go into some detail on how it works, and there's some discussion already underway. But that's what we were kind of doing is in episode 303, trying to figure out whether or not we could actually use a reusable component. Turns out we can. And then I thought maybe we could do a pie-related episode for episode 314. Maybe I'll eat pie one day. We're creeping up to it. We're almost there. If you have any pie-related jokes or things I should do for episode 314, that'll probably happen in the new year, let me know. And then there was the Rate This Episode form. I won't follow the link. I just assume that that's all correct. That looks good. Episode 304 was October 26th. Correct. Yeah, looks good. What did we do? It was a spooky episode for Halloween. We did some jump list stuff. We're going to be doing more of that today. And then I answered a question. That all looks good. I'm very happy with that. Let's merge that in. I'm pretty like I don't do a lot of editorializing or editing of the episode guides. They come in and I just merge them if they're useful, and what SmurfD is sending in is useful. So thank you so much, SmurfD. Next one was November 2nd. That was episode 305. That's right. And all of that looks correct. I was in the office. I put Windows Jump List on pause because I was in the office and I didn't have any access to my Windows machine. And then that was the episode where I put the Twitch chat on our the Joy of Coding website. That was relatively easy and straightforward. We did that right at the start, just sort of bolted it on. I talked about Mastodon a bit, and then I did some stuff related to Unified Extensions Panel. All of my Unified Extensions Panel work is pretty much wrapped up at this point, so we're not going to be, I don't think, doing any more of that on this stream. November 9th was episode 306. That's right, November 9th, 306. Jump list stuff has to wait. I did more Unified Extension stuff, and I talked about Black Tea, and I gave a shout out to the WebCompat team. They're a great team, and we talked about Servo and Ladybird and Serenity OS. So thank you for putting those links in there. That's good stuff. I'm gonna go ahead and merge that in. That's good. I'm happy with that contribution to the episode guide. Let's do it. Jamie NK says the Unified Extensions Panel is very good. Hey, awesome. Let Will Durand is I see in the live hacking Matrix channel. There's some feedback for you and your team, Will. Great job on the panel, everything that's going on in the panel, the design of the whole thing. So feed that feedback in. Jamie NK is loving it. Also, I see some commentary from Ocris. Is finally able to compile Firefox. Turns out libclang16 changed an API for anonymous structs, enums, etc., which caused cbindgen to generate incorrect symbols. And to fix this, they had to use a bundled libclang15 to build Firefox. So, wow, that's interesting. So libclang16 is gonna, I guess we don't build with libclang16. That's something that I'm hoping our build people know. They'll probably have that sorted out before they switch us all to using libclang16. Let's hope, anyways. Episode 307, 308. Let's just get these in real quick. That was, whoopsie daisy. I didn't mean to do that. What just happened? I just went to Smurfy's Fork. Okay, here we go. 307, November 16th. Correct. What do we do? The link's correct. We talked about Unified Extension stuff. I talked about the mailing list post. That's when the announcement, the larger announcement to Firefox Dev went out of like, hey, we're actually doing this now. I don't know if I linked to the blog post, but a blog post went out on the add-ons blog. Did I link to it eventually? I did in episode 308, so I won't do it again. But that all looks good. Episode 308, November 23rd. That's correct. And yeah, I talked about the mailing list blog and the blog post that went out about what Manifest v3 stuff is coming to Firefox 109. So if you're familiar with Manifest v3, maybe none of this is a surprise to you. If you're an add-on author and you don't know what I mean by Manifest v3, you might want to check that out if you want to migrate your extensions. We will be maintaining Manifest v2, I believe, for a while, and letting Manifest v2 add-ons run in Firefox for at least a while. And we will have, I want to reinforce this, there are certain things from Manifest v2 that we will continue to maintain and support, like blocking web request. That's the sort of thing that powers uBlock. There's a blog post about that somewhere where we talked about, yes, we are going to continue giving uBlock and all of the ad blockers out there blocking web request. But at the same time, we want to support add-ons that are being written for Manifest v3. So we will also implement those APIs. So that's all happening right now, and that's all in these blog posts. You should check those out. And so we talked about it, and then we did some WebIDL stuff last week. I remember that was a lot of fun. This is actually, I'm really excited for this episode. This has been 10 minutes of build-up, but I'm really excited for this episode because we might actually get something showing up to the in the Windows jump lists. And so let's get into it. I'm seeing some more commentary. Smurfd suggests that Ocris file is a bug, and then Ocris mentions that it's already filed. Let's take a quick look at Ocris, the bug that Ocris is referring to. Probably bindgen needs to be bumped. MCAir. I don't know if Ocris is in here, but these are the sorts of things that are going to eventually have to be taken care of by our build and infrastructure people. It's filed in the right spot, so eventually our once it becomes more critical, we'll take care of it. But I think right now it's probably not that critical. Oh, it looks like it was, yeah, a bot moved it into the right spot. That's good. Okay, so what are we doing today? So, as you may recall, we got into a point last week where I'm not going to update Sublime just yet, where we had successfully moved the what we were calling the descriptions. Yeah, they're these description objects of what do we say there? Windows jump list shortcut descriptions. We had successfully moved them over to our background thread. And that's where, and we like printed out some information from them. And now we're ready to do some interesting stuff, like actually commit them to the jump list. Now, how do we do that? I don't actually know. We're going to figure that out today. I think what I want to do actually is simplify my my UI a little bit here. I'm going to get rid of the second column. Layout, single column. I'm going to get rid of some of this other stuff. I'm going to close some of these other files I'm not using right now. I think some of these I've been doing other work on here, and I had to open some other files, but we don't need these. Or the page icon protocol handler, or I think we'll keep the rest of these open. And this was some, like my my little snippet that I kept referring to. Maybe restart Sublime to get rid of the tooltip. Oh yeah, that's right. That tooltip is still stuck there. I don't know. Were you all here last week whenever that was happening? I can't remember if I was streaming when that was happening, but there was like a tooltip stuck in the way that whole time. Yeah, all right. The tooltip's gone now. Let's keep going. So we've got ourselves our function here that's running off of the main thread. We now need to figure out how we can commit these jump list descriptions to the actual Windows jump list. And that means calling into like the Windows Win32 APIs to do this. Like I think it's COM, Microsoft COM stuff. And the way it's going to do it is probably very similar to the way we used to do it, except that we don't have to expose so much information to JavaScript over XPCOM. We can kind of do it all in one spot. Let's see. Commit. So one of the functions in here, if I open up jump list builder and we look at the header, we can see some of the functions in here. Oh, of course, a bunch of it's in XPCOM. Okay, so like the add list to build, init add list, adds a list and it is required a set of items for the list, and then commit list. I think these are the sorts of things that we're this is what we're going to be looking at: add list and commit list, because we're basically going to want to do one and then the other. So let's start by looking at add list to build, quickly refamiliarize ourselves with how it works. Whoops, we're in the wrong file. I think I'd done some work last week to try and move this off of the main thread. But basically what it does is it gets a lock because we've got this jump list manager thing between, that's where we're going to eventually get rid of. And then we get, this is a Microsoft COM interface for custom destination list. We get a pointer, jump list manager. I guess we're casting the jump list manager to this thing. And then we check to see what category that we're adding our list, like what category. Are we adding tasks? Or are we adding recent? Or frequent? And what's the difference between these? If it's a task, then we go through our items, we cast the item to an NSI jump list item. We check to see if it's a separator item. And if it is, we add a separator for it. Otherwise, we get a shell link item and add that. And then when we're done, we turn our collection, we QI it into an iObject array, and then we add the tasks to it. Okay, so that's what happens if it's a category tasks. What if it's a category recent? We say append known category KDC recent. If it's jump list category frequent, we say append known category KDC frequent. I don't know what that means. And then if it's category custom list, in practice, what of these are used, I wonder? Some of this might actually be like not used anymore. I'm curious. Let's see if we can see what is actually used out in the wild. Yeah, I don't think some of these are used. Like recent doesn't appear to be used. Frequent doesn't appear to be used. I got a feeling a lot of this is vestigial, as in we don't use it anymore. Based on Windows recent document lists, the lists are generated automatically by Windows applications that use recent or frequent lists should keep document use tracking up to date by calling add to recent docs shell API. So it doesn't look like we actually use those. Do we use any other categories? Yes, custom list. It looks like we only use custom list and then tasks. And then in our tests, we use frequent, recent, and tasks. But in actual practice, it looks like we only use tasks and custom list. Let's take a quick look at what these are. Build custom, build tasks, and which one of these is used? Build custom. Whoop. Windows supports default frequent and recent lists, but those depend on internal Windows visits tracking, which we don't populate, so we build our own custom frequent and recent list using our nav history data. And then we build a custom list. That's under build recent. Build recent. And then jump list category tasks. Build tasks. If show frequent, if show recent. It's false. What prefs do we have for showing frequent and recent? Frequent enabled. These are our prefs, I guess. And what do we do by default? We do show frequent. We don't show recent. We do show tasks, and we refresh every 120 seconds. When did we turn off recent? Recent. It's like recent was never enabled, it looks like. Recent was added, but I wonder if there was like follow-up work that never happened. This was back in 2009. Improve accuracy. Add the ability to specify custom icons. Interesting. Well, if it was never enabled, I don't know if it's worth... yeah, frequent shows up. Yeah, frequent is enabled by default. Recent appears to have never been enabled. And I wonder if... I don't think we expose it anywhere, do we? Recent enabled. Like, we don't expose it in the UI, so I'm tempted to not re-add this. But we do show frequent, and we show tasks. And then how are these treated? Like, we're going to go back to category custom list and category. So category recent, there's not a whole lot that needs to happen. And then category custom list. Do we use? We do use tasks. We do use custom list as well. Sorry, we use 3 of these things. I need to write this down. Investigate, support. Investigate what kinds of lists we need to populate. So we've got custom tasks, recent, sorry. Browser task bar lists. Not recent, frequent. Not frequent places. And then, what was the last one? Tasks. No, custom list. Custom list tasks, which is different from custom list. That's what's going on. Build custom, build tasks. Okay, what is build tasks used for? Tasks is tasks config. Oh, these are the tasks. They're defined up here. That's for like creating a new tab, a new window, and a new private window. And then custom list. What do we do there? Build custom. This is how we build up the frequent list. Delete pending statements type frequent. So really, frequent is a custom list. This is the frequently visited stuff. I see a question from Mr. Simpson00. When will WebGPU be available in the main build? Asks Mr. Simpson00. I don't know. Let's look. WebGPU. Let's see if there's anything in Bugzilla about that. All right, let's find the WebGPU minimally viable product in Gecko. Looks like a bunch of stuff's been closed. Hook into CI. Do WebGPU validation. WebGPU missing functionality. Make initialization async. It looks like there's still some work to do here. V1. I don't actually know, but it looks like work is still underway. Oh, enable it nightly by default is blocked by all of these things. Last updated 22 days ago. There's a couple of security bugs here I don't have access to. And then we also have to support the block list. And it has to pass through security review. So it looks like what's going on is we're in the final stages here where a bunch of stuff's been closed out to enable WebGPU and nightly by default, but we're going through some security stuff right now before we finally throw the switch. And this is the bug to follow to enable web GPU in nightly by default. And only after, wait, this shouldn't have been copied in. Only after when will web GPU be available in the main release? This is the bug to enable it in nightly. Only after it's been security reviewed and we're satisfied with its stability on nightly would we even consider letting it ride out. So this is the first step, is enabling it nightly by default. And if you're looking to get involved, there might be some information on how you can test this. You know, there might be a pref you can flip to enable it early, and you could file bugs maybe if you're looking to get involved. You could also go to the graphics matrix channel and ask about it in the Mozilla Matrix server. Yeah, there you go. Hopefully that was interesting. Okay, so what we've determined is that we only need to support custom lists because that's what actually populates the frequently visited stuff, and then the tasks for things like opening new windows and whatnot. So I think we actually have to consider modifying our API slightly. We did not design it with that in mind. I thought it was just one amorphous, homogeneous list of stuff, but it turns out we want slightly different stuff in between them. Let's double check though and look to see how the custom list differs from the tasks. So for tasks, we went through and we created these items. You have the possibility of there being a separator. That's interesting. So that different types can be described. And then down here for custom list, we create a collection. We go through each of the items. We query interface them to a jump list item. We check to see if it can be a separator, a link, or a shortcut. I don't exactly know what the difference is between a link and a shortcut in this particular case, although it looks like we do the background thread stuff for getting a favicon for the shortcut case. We might want to refresh ourselves on what the difference between these two are. Separator, link, or a shortcut, and then we add the items. We append a category to the jump list manager. So what is it? Oh, I see. That'd be like this name here, tasks. Because what's the category? Where's the category name coming from? Cat name comes from add list to build. And so title for building custom, title is taskbar frequent label. Frequent. What? Hang on. Let's launch Firefox for a second here. I wonder how long this will take to update. There's the recent list, there's the tasks. When does frequent show up? We might have to wait a couple of minutes. I wonder if we could force it. Is there a way of forcing this thing to be more aggressive? Where's the notify? Update. There's an update function. If we can get to the win jump, was it win taskbar jump list? So I'm gonna have to import that, I guess. Win taskbar jump list. we import that here? Whoops. When taskbar jump list update. That's interesting. Like, why does it say recent and not frequent? If the string is build custom. Oh, maybe it's because frequent is disabled by default. We determined that, right? Is that what we determined? No, recent is disabled by default. What is going on here? I need to write this stuff down. So frequent is enabled by default. This is more of a bullet than a text checkbox. I don't know why it's putting it in a checkbox. Recent is disabled by default. And yet, when we look at the jump list itself, what's displayed here is recent. Let me just double check that I haven't fiddled with some prefs somehow. Recent enabled is false. So I should be using frequent. Frequent is enabled. Is true. And build frequent gets called if show frequent is true under build list. All right. Let's actually inspect some stuff here. Looks like recent was set in custom. I think it'll help if we can like step through some of this code. It's very confusing because I feel like there's been lots of stabs at this and it's all very oh no, I didn't mean to open Thunderbird. No! No! No, don't open my email. No, go away. Sorry. I love you, Thunderbird, but not right now. I don't want people to see my email. Okay. I was looking to take this chunk of code here. And we don't need the toolbox or the console anymore. We'll go over here in the toolbox and we'll say, hey, do that. Oh, it's already defined in scope. Great. I'm going to call update, but I'm going to step through. Okay, this makes more sense now. So we're going to build our list. Anything to build? Start build. Are we going to show tasks? Build tasks. Then we go through each of our tasks and we create these items. And we ultimately created 3 items for our tasks. And then show frequent. Frequent is enabled because show recent is not. Right, it's false. So we're going to say show frequent. So here we go. And we're going to get some history results. I'm going to set a breakpoint in here because this is async. Okay, we got some results here. We're constructing this stuff. Build frequent. Oh, thank you. I just got a tea delivery. It's delicious. It's tea, everybody. Thank you for the tea delivery. We're constructing like our list here. And I guess at some point, what are we gonna get history results? If maybe the last time we get called is whenever we enter this condition. What? When do we build custom? That's what I want to know. So let's do that again. Okay, update. Build custom. We built custom from where? In build frequent, which we know is enabled. So we did eventually enter here. And taskbar frequent label, if we look at this, is frequent. Commit. And now if we look, it says recent. Now, is that what does that mean? How come it says recent and not frequent? Oh, we hit our breakpoint. Our timer went off. That's very interesting. What's title? Title is frequent, right? Yeah. For a custom list. And yet it says recent. Do we ever overwrite it maybe? Taskbar frequent label. How about taskbar recent label? Do we ever use that? Oh yeah, it would use build custom anyways. We only ever enter here once. Get rid of that breakpoint. We only enter here once. Our title is frequent. We don't overwrite it, and yet this says recent. Bizarro. Wow. There's I don't know if anyone has any power to get rid of what looks like some kind of hype man inside of the chat, some kind of Doge hype. Get rid of, like, if they're not kicked yet, please kick them. Not interested in solicitors. Okay, maybe we can go deeper. Let's go deeper. What we can do is let's shut down this. And let's, what are we using? Are we using debug build? We're using a default build. I have a debug build and it's all ready to go. Is this actually going to work? What is, like, does every browser have the same list? Recent and tasks. Tasks. Maybe that's just like the default is to just show recent. Oh, most visited, recently closed. So maybe you can customize it a little bit. Out of the 10 people on the live stream, one of them was a solicitor. Well, Oric Jarton 5HH was saying, "Hi, I want to offer promotion of your channel. Prices lower than any competitor. Quality guaranteed. Go to this hype site. They're soliciting. Maybe by soliciting, I don't mean like a lawyer. I meant like someone who's selling something, a salesperson. What are we gonna do about this? I'd like to understand this. So here's what we're gonna do. We are going to will this still work? If I run, let's just do a real quick check here. How much of this, because like we've hobbled a lot of this code to get where we're at. I want to see if the jump list is completely broken or if it actually works still. Oh, it still kind of works. And it shows frequent. What? What? How is that happening? How come it says frequent and not recent? How come this one says recent and not frequent? All right. Let's do a quick. I need to step back for a second here. Launch today's nightly. Maybe it is Windows. Maybe the issue is Windows. Someone suggested that the issue might be Windows. Could be. All right. The issue is always Windows. You don't really use those shortcuts? That's okay. I'm not... even if you don't use these shortcuts, your system is still impacted by the main thread usage. And ultimately, this whole thing is to get the stuff off the main thread. I'm not trying to change the behavior. I'm trying to make it more efficient so that you don't have to deal with so much jank. Come on. How do I get it to populate? I think I might have to like do that thing I did. No. Okay. Frequent. Frequent showed up. Okra says it might be more efficient without that feature. Yeah, maybe. Except that if we want to play nice with the operating system, we kind of have to, do the things that people who are really used to the operating system expect. This is a part of what Windows users expect. At least some Windows users. It's not my call on whether or not we cut this feature. Yeah, this is... Also, this is really old. Look at these. These are all, like, really old files. I wonder if this hasn't been updating in forever. Maybe my current... The way that... Maybe Windows is broken. Like, I haven't visited my... Like, these documents. These look like downloads. That's what these look like. Downloads. Is that what's being shown here? Downloads? Places. Custom list. Build custom. Uses sort by frequency, items, get history results. Query, async legacy query. We'll go and get from places stuff. The query is Get new query. Sorting mode. Descending. A maximum number of items. I think this is broken. Create an array. We're going to create some history results. What are these results? Twitter. I don't see Twitter in this list. You know what? What's the next one? Twitter. These are places I've gone to on this profile. And at some point, at no point do we enter there. Five, six, seven. At no point do we enter here. This stuff's broken. We never commit it. We construct it. For some reason, we never commit it. I think this stuff is wildly broken. All right, gang. Woo! Sorry, I see some questions in here. The pressing refresh in the desktop starting test PDF, probably something important. All hands could be Windows recent files, maybe recent PDF files. Ocris probably not ordered. Probably try just some of the features, see if anything changes. Custom jump list. I got a feeling at some point I enabled the recent. I must have enabled the recent list and then re-disabled it, and I think I'm currently in this broken state on Windows. I think that's where I'm at. So I'm just gonna ignore that. Like, Windows jump lists needs to be rewritten. But what I think I've learned from all of this is that we have two lists that we're trying to construct. A list of recent places that we visited, or frequent places that we visited, and then tasks. And that's what we're gonna make. Which means we're gonna create two sections, basically. And I think that means we need to modify our we might need to modify our API a little bit. Because before it was just like, hey, here's a here's a description, and here's the populate a jump list. I think what we should do is, well, first of all, do we still need to support separators? That's the first thing. Do the separators still come into play? Is separator jump list item separator? Do we still use that? how is it used in tests? I guess that's how we... Oh, you like instantiate a separator. I don't think we use separators. Yeah, I don't think we actually use separators. So we can forget about that. We don't have to use that for now. We can drop that. Don't need separators. We just need to be able to supply these two lists. Tasks and frequent. And so that means modifying our API slightly in Jump List Builder to be able to supply the list that we're adding, that we're setting descriptions for. Now, whenever you overwrite a list, why is Sublime being crazy slow? They're categories. Tasks and customs. You can supply the title. And now if we look at Jump List Builder, we don't need to worry about separators. We do need to be able to set the title. When we say that it's tasks, what do we say that the title is going to be? Like, is that the sort of thing that like it just, the Windows knows that, hey, this is the task one? Yeah, add user tasks. So that's built in. Custom, we get to set the title. So what we're going to do here, I think... Oh, and what if we're like deleting one? Like when we clear the list. How did it used to work? Windows jump lists. Like delete. Pending statements, delete active jump list. If there's nothing to build, we'll start the build. Start build. We'll clear history. Clear history. Oh, okay. We don't need to do that. And then commit list build. Build tasks. Delete active jump list. We'll delete it if a pref changes, or whoops, at the very beginning if there's nothing to show. So that needs to be possible. But I suspect what happens is we just immediately overwrite. Like, what is up with this machine? Is it my network connection? Is it RDP? The machine seems okay. Here, let me just reconnect. Yeah, it's a little sluggish, weirdly sluggish. Okay, so I think what happens is if we add a list, like the tasks list, this will overwrite the old one. I don't think it will like... if there's any deleting that we need to do. Custom list. Then we append the category. Or maybe I'm wrong. Jump list builder. Let's take a quick peek at the header. Delete icon. Remove. Is there any kind of deleting going on? What is up with this machine? I actually think the machine's okay. I think the active list. Delete the list. I think what I should actually do is look up the Win32 documentation on some of this stuff. Yeah, what is going on here? Is my internet... Am I dropping frames like crazy? Is my internet working? What's happening here? Did my neighbor turn on like a microwave? Stream seems laggy. I think my net... Oh, yeah, the stream seems laggy. Okay. I was dropping some frames for a while there. I think my internet may have been struggling. My network might be struggling. I apologize, gang. And maybe that's... I don't know. This isn't happening over the network. But, you know... I don't know. Something's up. Something's up with my network. I'm not dropping frames right now, though, thankfully. Oh, I am. I'm dropping frames. Ah! I'm just going to message everyone and say I'm dropping frames like crazy. I don't exactly know what's going wrong, everybody. The internet seems to happen when you scroll. I wonder if this machine's actually suffering. My my host machine, or like the Mac OS machine. OBS, of course, taking a lot of time. Loom. Let's quit Loom. Quit Loom. Don't need that right now. Get rid of you. Shut down Zoom. Sorry, everybody. I don't know what's going on here. Hopefully, are things better? I'm not dropping frames right now. All right. I hope things get better now. I don't like getting bogged down by stuff like this. Okay, I want to yeah, I want to look up the documentation for Jump List Manager, which is a custom destination list. So let's do that over here. Win32. Oh, my network, my internet. I'm sorry, everybody. Just you're gonna want to watch that recording when this is all said and done. Okay, Windows shell, abort list, add user tasks, pen category, begin list, commit list, deletes a custom list for the desired, get removed destinations, set app ID. Destinations items appear, tasks. Let's replace with it. Okay. Never truly updated. We always replace the old list with a new list. So if you like succeed in committing the list, then you're good. That blows away the old one. Is what I just read. That's helpful. And sorry for the jumps in time. Normally the stream's not like this. Our bad. But it does mean that we do need to update our our API a little bit here. We're going to supply the name. Populate the jump list. We're going to supply... Well, how do we want to do this? We could say populate custom list and populate task list. That might be best, is if we have two methods rather than one generic method here. So for example, we could say like populate jump list tasks and populate jump list custom, and then with custom you supply not only the descriptions but the title. I think I like that. Dropping frames like I've never seen. Oh, Vinit Kami says, hey, just want to thank you for the work, and that they were trying DevTools and it worked really great. Hey, thank you so much, Vinit Kami. I don't know if you can hear me because of the internet and I'm dropping frames. I'm going to say thank you here. You're welcome. And thank you. Vinit Kami. Hang on, am I spelling that right? Vinit Kami. Me. You're welcome. Thank you for using our DevTools. You can hear us. Okay, good. I could see myself dropping frames like again and again and again and again. The network quality is garbage. I've got like lights flashing going like, oh no, your internet. So I might end this stream if things don't improve in like the next couple of minutes. I might end the stream. Oh man, yeah, it's looking pretty bad. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna end the stream. I'm gonna keep it going. I've got the recording. And when all of this is over, maybe just watch the recording from when the stream started to go sour, and you can watch the recording. So here we go. So populate, I'm going to say jump list tasks, and then we can supply some descriptions. And then I'm going to say populate jump list custom. And then I'm going to say, hey, I want a title as well as the descriptions. And that I think should work. The C++, the header will be updated automatically. I have to update our implementation down here. Do populate jump list. Tasks. And we might actually want to use the same thing as a helper. Like the stuff that we've already written can be common between the two of them. It's just we can abstract away some of the needing to know what to do with tasks and custom lists. Custom. And then not just the descriptions, we're also going to get const, and what's the signature? And I've lost my mouse. Oh. The I don't know how much of it's my internet. Because because I'm not connected to my Windows machine here from the internet. I'm connected to it on my local area network. So I think my local area network is also having a hard time. It's struggling. And I'm cross-streaming from my network. I'm using a service called Restream.io to do all the multicasting. And so it's all offloaded. So dropping one stream wouldn't really help, unfortunately. So we're going to take in a string. What is the signature? Set app ID. No, I can't work this way. I can't do it, everybody. We might have to, all right. I think I'm gonna, yeah, this is pretty brutal. In 300 streams, I think I think we should quit while we're ahead. Gang, I'm so sorry. We had something good going. If we disconnect again, I'm going to here. I'm like, text is being randomly inserted into my editor as well. No, I can't do it. This is intolerable. Intolerable. I'm gonna call it. And maybe next time we will have a better time. I think what I'm gonna do, just for my own satisfaction. No, I'm not gonna do it. I'm gonna restart my whole system. I'm gonna restart my home network. But unfortunately I don't think I can continue the stream. It's too garbage. The experience is garbage. Ah! Thank you so much. Oh yeah, dropped frames like crazy. I'm gonna just heads up. I will not be streaming next week, actually, due to the fact that I will be away, or like I will be in a meeting that I can't get out of. So there'll be no stream next week. But I do plan. And I was taking notes in the wrong agenda. Oh man, this whole thing went sideways. This whole episode went completely sideways. I've been taking putting notes in the wrong agenda. Holy smokes. The joy of coding, everybody, where things go horribly wrong. That's what the name of the game is. You're getting the real deal. Yeah, there will be no episode next week, and hopefully I will take my router and massage it and try and make it a little friendlier, a little less stressed out, because I think it's starting to complain. I want to thank you for tolerating this. If you're watching the recording, I apologize for the quality. Let's hope for a better episode 310. Whoo! Yeah, so if I don't see you next week, I'll hopefully see you the week after. You can follow me on Mastodon for updates on whenever I'm streaming again. Again, thank you for watching episode 309, and hopefully next time will be better. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
The joy of coding.
See ya.